Hey everybody, this is Father Warner, and we are in the second Sunday of Lent. Our readings are taken from the book of Genesis, chapter 22. It tells us of the narrative of Abraham. God makes a demand of Abraham to sacrifice his son. Now, right off the bat, I want to say this. You begin to ask yourself, God, why do you have to be so specific in your demands? Why can't you just be vague? Why can't you be a little vague so that we can slither out? You see, when God made a demand of Abraham, he said to him, and listen, he said, take your son, take your only child. And he mentions the child's name, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and there you will sacrifice him on a mountain that I point out to you. You can just imagine what happened to Abraham when God made this demand. He must have said to God, God, just a little leeway. Of course, he didn't have other sons to sacrifice, and I can't imagine anybody who wants to sacrifice a son. But you would have wanted a little time, perhaps. And God is specific. Take your son, take your only son. And then you come to the Gospel of Mark chapter 9, verse 2 to 10, and you begin to think, oh, I think I can settle down with this reading. It's better. It's about the transfiguration of Jesus. Jesus goes up a mountain, look, another mountain, and yet after some time we'll hear of the Mount Calvary. But he goes up the mountain, and there he's with Peter, James, and John, and Moses and Elijah, and everything seems to sound like a party. Jesus is transfigured, his clothes are dazzling white, and you begin to think, hey, this is a nice reading. I think I can settle with this one. Let's just pass on Genesis. But as I've often said, look at a text within its context. When you look at the transfiguration, it is sandwiched between two other texts. Chapter 8, verse 30 and 31, where Jesus tells us that the Son of Man must suffer grievously and die and be put to death, and on the third day he will rise again. It is called the Passion Prediction. And immediately after this text, in 9, 30, 31, 32, he will speak again. He will say the same thing. The Son of Man will suffer grievously, he'll be put to death, but he will rise again. And then, just as if to reiterate the point all over again, he will say it in 10:33. You see, what was demanded a long time ago from Abraham, God himself lived through. Now, God gave us his Son. He will give us his only Son. He will give us, to use a word from the Transfiguration, his well-beloved Son. But unlike Abraham, this time there is no ram that will take the place of Isaac. This time, God will allow his Son to die for you and me. My dear friends, as I said earlier, these demands of God are so specific, and very often we have lived through them. There are many parents who have lost a loved one, a child in their early youth. I don't know the mind of God. I don't dare to understand it. I allow God to be God, but you and I can only pray for grace, because our moment will come when God will be specific of his demands of us, so specific that he will take from us or ask from us that which we loved most. But he will always assure us that he also gave up that which he loved most. You know, in the Garden of Gethsemane, things were not easy for Jesus. He suffered, and he said, if it's possible, take this cup of suffering from me, but let your will be done. I think we ought to start praying that prayer as often as we can. and especially in great moments of trial. We can't bear this suffering, Lord. But hey, let your will be done. I hope this teaching has strengthened you and given you hope, and on this second Sunday of Lent, endeared you even more to the sufferings of not just our Lord, but the sufferings of God, who allowed His Son, His beloved Son, His only Son, to die for you and me. I do hope you like this video. Please subscribe to this channel, share this with your friends if you can, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Bye for now.